All right, boys, welcome back to the show. Today, we're going to be talking about the exact number of reps that you need to do to build muscle. Before I get into it though, I do have to apologize. If you cannot hear that, you probably will at some point throughout the episode. There is a building site right outside of my flat today. They've decided to dig up the road. They've been at it all day. I've waited as long as I can to get this up, and it shows no sign of slowing down or stopping or getting any quieter. So I will do my best to stay as focused and concentrated as I can, but if I lose my train of thought at any point, it's because of that. Anyway, let's get into the topic. So this is not, I should say actually, this is not for guys who are looking to get stronger. This is not for guys who are looking to learn how to do complex Olympic weightlifting movements. This is for guys who want to build bigger muscles. We are talking hypertrophy. We are talking aesthetics. Why should you listen to me? Well, I'm not the biggest guy in the world. Absolutely not. So if you want to go and listen to the biggest guys in the world who all take steroids, that's absolutely up to you. However, if you saw a picture of me when I was 17 years old, which I probably can dig out for you if you want, you can see that I have learned how to put on a fair bit of muscle over the years. I've been training myself for 15 years and I've been running an online fitness business for the last 5 of those, helping men to take back control of their health, double their energy levels, and live more fulfilled lives. So if you want to stick around and listen for the next few minutes, wicked, let's get into it. Because a lot of people will tell you what the science says. Don't get me wrong, I love science. I'm all about being evidence-based. I'm also a nutritionist, and particularly on the nutrition side of things, I think it's extra important to be evidence-based and backed by science, and not just any science, backed by high quality science. So we're looking at meta studies, systematic reviews, all this sort of good stuff, not just observational studies, which is what a lot of people will quote. However, on the training side, I think we want a little bit more precision than what they tell you when it comes to hypertrophy, because I'm pretty sure the latest science will say that you can build muscle from anything between 8 reps and 30 reps, which I'm sure is absolutely true, but it doesn't really help us that much, does it? Like, particularly if you're relatively new to this, you just want information, you want facts, you want to be able to go and implement it and hopefully see the results and the progress over a period of time, right? Your motivation is high, you want to capitalize on that, and I completely appreciate that. So I'm going to do my best to give you a precise number. The thing is though, there is a precise number, but it's going to be different for every single person. And I want to explain what I mean by that. Because the perfect number of reps for you to build muscle is the amount that you can do without your form breaking down. Because I think the real reason, if you're watching this video, the chances are you're struggling to build muscle. The real reason people don't build muscle is not because they've got the wrong rep range. It's just that they're not necessarily pushing themselves hard enough. Like, are you actually pushing yourself to mechanical failure? Because more often than not, we're going through the motions, we're not tracking our workouts, we're not tracking our lifts, we're not progressively overloading, and that's just the basics. And then we wonder and we get frustrated why we're not building muscle. So the perfect rep range does exist, but it's probably just more than you're doing now. If you're struggling to build muscle, that's the answer. And I know that might be a little bit frustrating to you. You're like, oh, I thought he was gonna say 13.7482. Maybe it is. Maybe it is for you, but it's not gonna be for everybody. Because as long as you're lifting with proper mechanical tension and form, mechanical tension on the muscle, so let's say it's a bicep curl, and you actually are like, you can feel the bicep moving and you can feel it contracting, and you can keep doing it, well then you're not going to grow the muscle until you break it down. And you have to do that to push it to mechanical failure to do that. So it's even less relevant about the weight that you lift. But when you're using a muscle like the biceps, for example, and I see this quite a lot in the gym, you'll see guys going in there and lifting 25, 30 kilo dumbbells, and they're just swinging them around, and all they're doing is using their back. They're not even using their bicep. They maybe they got 1 rep where it actually contracted the bicep, and the other 6 or 7 they did, it was all just lower back, and then they put the weights down. And look at this, because the guys who are doing this will always put the weights down, and the first thing they're going to do is look around to see who's looking at them, because that's the only reason they're doing it. And I get it, hands up But I've done it myself. Ego lifting is a real thing, and you ultimately, once you stop doing it, you realize you've just wasted X amount of time doing it, because it's never going to get you anywhere. So certainly you don't want to be ego lifting, but the argument really here is that you want to be doing more. You want to be doing more than you are right now. Because if you're struggling to grow your muscles, then I promise you, it's not that you can't, it's not your genetics, it's just that you're literally not pushing your muscles to mechanical failure. You are not breaking the fibers down, you're not tearing the fibers, you're not breaking the muscle down, so it's not going to hypertrophy back bigger. Now, of course, we could get into the science of the nutrition and what you need to do there, but this video specifically is about rep ranges and stuff like this. So it's not even about necessarily how many sets you do, or necessarily how much weight you do. It is literally just being able to go in and push the muscle to mechanical failure. And a great example of this actually was when we were in lockdown, right? 2020, and I remember all I had was some dumbbells that I think went to 10 kilos maybe or something like that, and a pull-up bar. I honestly got in one of the best shapes of my life in lockdown with just that limited equipment because of my consistency, but also because I was progressively overloading, and because I only had light weight, I was forcing myself to push it to mechanical failure with really dialed in form. The majority of guys need to go lighter on the weight and push the rep range up to mechanical failure. That's probably the best piece of advice there I can give you. Like the pull-ups was a great example. My back exploded because I basically set myself a challenge. I think I did it for 28 days, where it was like, in 28 days, how many pull-ups can I do in one set? And I think I got to 26, 27, something like that. But when I started it, I was on like 12. It's the same with push-ups. You know, I've worked with guys in the past where I've said, okay, if you're really struggling with everything, you don't have any time, you don't have any discipline, you don't have anything, can you do this? And I'd say to them, right, every morning you're gonna wake up, and before you do anything, you're gonna drop to the floor and you're gonna do a set of press-ups, and the only thing you have to try and do is to do one more than you did the day before. That's it. And you see guys go from doing 3 to 30 in the space of 3 weeks. That's how you build muscle. It really is that simple. You don't need precise rep ranges. You just need to do more. You need to do more with lighter weight, correct form, and proper mechanical tension. And I promise you, if you do that, you will build muscle. Dorian Yates is a great example of this. Now, I don't want to butcher his work or anything like that, so I'll keep it relatively vague, but I certainly encourage you to go and check out his stuff on this. But he always talks about the idea that you only need to do sort of 2 working sets. And the idea is that those working sets, you are pushing yourself to the point where you basically want to throw up, puke and throw up is the same thing, sorry. You want to puke, shit yourself, and cry at the same time, and probably pass out. But what he is doing there is he's saying, okay, cool, these are the variables we've got. We've got time, we've got mechanical tension, we've got intensity. Let's just dial the intensity up to 11 out of 10. We'll get it done much quicker, but it's gonna suck for a very short space of time. Worked for him. So, I appreciate I might have led you down a little bit of a rabbit hole with the clickbaity title, but guys, I promise you, let me save you a lot of time. Don't keep scrolling on YouTube, or don't keep listening to podcasts looking for perfect rep ranges, exercises, sets, or anything like that. Because ultimately, and I'll be really honest with you, you could find 5 or 6 exercises, and let's just round it up and say 10, for your whole body that you honestly feel mechanically versus your biomechanics, your limbs and length and all this sort of stuff, you get the best contraction on the muscle for. And if you just do those 10 exercises and constantly try to progressively overload, constantly work on your form and really have that dialed in so you're always getting mechanical tension on every single rep that you do, and you're constantly pushing it to mechanical failure, I promise you, you will build muscle, and you'll build muscle a lot quicker than you're probably doing now. So I hope that was useful. Take this information, go and apply it. In fact, in your next workout, here's what I want you to try and do. Drop the weight by 25% on not even all your exercises, maybe just your arm exercises. Drop your weight by 25% and just go to mechanical failure. Don't even count the reps. Just go until you literally cannot lift your arms anymore with correct form. I promise you, you'll feel a burn like you haven't felt in months, if not years. So I hope this was useful, and I'll see you tomorrow.